you know me, then you'll know that one of my proudest achievements is getting my mechanical engineering degree from the University of Cape Town. But what you may not know is exactly what it took to get there, from not getting into UCT in the first place to getting kicked out while I was there and having my dream cut short. You may not know what happened. And so if you had a rough academic year and things just did not go according to plan, then I hope that me sharing with you my story of what it took to get this degree, and it took a lot, I hope that this will encourage you and motivate you to keep pushing on your academic journey. This is not going to be the easiest video to make, but I'm doing it for you. Let me start at my matric year, right? So I was one of those really smart but like lazy people who just didn't study very hard, and only towards the end of my matric year I'm like, oh crap, I want to study engineering and my marks are just absolutely trash, right? Like I'm talking 40s and whatever. And that's just because I was just playing around, not being serious, just being a typical teenager, really only thinking about today and not thinking about tomorrow. And only at the last minute I realized that, well, if I want a better future and a better life, I'm going to have to actually study and get the ball rolling. At the time I enjoyed physics, I didn't do too badly, and so I didn't even put any amount of studying into physics. I just left it thinking that I will tackle it at the exam room. But maths was the subject that I was really battling in. So what I did is I decided to start studying from grade 10, right? To start refreshing my memory of the material from grade 10, grade 11 and matric. Now I put in blood, sweat and tears for that matric exam because I wanted to get a distinction, even though I was sitting at 40s for the entire year. And I'd calculated that in order to get 80% in my matric finals, I needed to get, I think, 90% in my exams. And this is someone who's been getting 40s for years. But I decided to put my all into it, and that's what I did. I mainly focused on studying for this maths exam, and I neglected all my other exams. This obviously was not a good strategy. I was so young, I didn't know any better. Anyway, long story short, with my matric result, I got 79 in my final matric mark, meaning I did get over probably 88% in my final exam, but not that 90 that I needed to secure that distinction. And because I had put all this effort into studying for my maths exam, my other results completely suffered. And what happened then meant that my marks were not good enough to get accepted into UCT. Now, I need to explain to you how badly I wanted to go to UCT. I'd known from like the time I was 13 that I wanted to study at UCT, and I don't know why I didn't work for it as I should have, but it was always my dream. I wanted to live in Cape Town and I wanted to go to this university. So much so that I didn't even apply to other universities. My mom had to force me. She brought the application forms and like forced me to sign, and she filled them out because I knew, I was like, I'm going to UCT. I don't care about any other university. So, you know, my shock and horror when I get the feedback that you are not eligible. Okay, I got into UCT. I got in for psychology. Yes, UCT accepted me for my second choice, which was psychology. But my mom was like, no, you want to do engineering. You're not going to UCT just to do psychology. You will study engineering. And so I couldn't go. And I just could not believe that I didn't get in. I remember sitting for days just being shocked, completely shocked of, but wait, I worked so hard. Like I worked so hard for my matric maths exam that my bum was sore. Like I couldn't even sit down properly because of how long I had spent studying for this exam. But like I said, I'd neglected my other subjects, and so my marks just were not good enough. And I couldn't believe it. I was completely shattered. I felt like it was the end of the world. So I wanted to just sit in my room and cry for days and days and not really think about what to do next. But luckily my mom, and like this video was like just to also thank her for how much she's pushed me in everything, and I'm truly grateful for her, because she was like, no, you don't get to just sit here and be in shock and disbelief about UCT. There are other universities you apply to. Let's go see what we can do. So we went to WITS and we went to UJ and other places, yeah, mainly WITS and UJ, to see what we could do. And long story cut short, I get accepted into the extended engineering program at UJ. Now, if you knew me back in matric, right, that was just the worst thing that could ever happen to me. Like I was like, UJ? I want to go to UCT. Why am I at UJ? Why am I here? I just couldn't believe it. But you know, when they accepted me for the extended engineering program, I was so grateful to at least be studying what I wanted to be studying. And so I forgot all about UCT and I was like, I'm here now, let's do this. And I grabbed that opportunity with both hands. I worked really hard, and I think I ended up the year getting like a 71% average. Now, as the year was coming to an end, I had the option to reapply to go to UCT, and I was so heartbroken about not getting into UCT in the first place that I was kind of like, no, I don't need it, I'm okay, I'm going to move on. But I knew at the back of my head that, hey, this place is my dream. And so I decided to just apply. And so what I did was I applied for first year. So like I said, I was in an extended program at UJ, which is a 5-year program, but I then applied for the 4-year mainstream program at UCT to just start all over again. And I thought I was going to kill it because I've just spent a year, learning physics, learning university level physics and maths. And so I thought I'll start afresh at UCT and I will kill it. I applied, but I didn't focus on it. I was so grateful to be at UJ. So to my surprise, I find out actually one of my friends, Q, told me of, hey, UCT has accepted you, because she used to check the feedback, because you could check online if you're in. And she's the one who called and told me that, I think UCT accepted you. And I didn't believe her. I thought she was pranking me. And lo and behold, I got in. UCT accepted me to come and study mechanical engineering. And you know me, I didn't even hesitate. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm moving to Cape Town. I was really sad because I'd made some amazing friends at UJ, and I just connected with, it was such a close-knit group of people that we had in the extended program, and I was so sad to leave all my friends, but I always knew that my dream was to go to Cape Town, and so I packed my bags and off to UCT I went. So now we did it. My dream has come true. I'm at UCT, here I am. But I didn't know anyone. I didn't know a single person. Luckily, one of my friends, Tato, agreed to come along to UCT with me for a few days so that she could help me get settled in, and I'm so grateful for that. But other than that, I didn't know anyone, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna study during O week. Guys, if you know University O week, studying during O week is a terrible idea, but I wanted to be prepared and kill it and do really well. Now, here's the thing, right? At UJ, I was in the extended program, and the people that are in the extended program typically didn't get the ideal marks to get into the mainstream program. So the people that I was with, we all had the similar kind of marks. We were all like a similar kind of person, right? And that is the group of people that I was with at UJ. But I get to UCT, I'm now in the mainstream program at the top university in Africa, and I'm surrounded by people. We're sitting during a week and we're chatting, and people have 9 distinctions, 12 distinctions, 13 distinctions. I'm like, oh boy. I immediately felt in over my head. I mean, I was like, I started to feel like I didn't belong, and it was so confusing to me. I mean, I remember the whole of first semester feeling like I made a big mistake coming to UCT. I didn't belong there. The classes were so fast-paced. Everyone was so clever, catching on, hey. But, I wasn't working as hard as I should have been. In hindsight, like now that I look back at it, I just spent so much time feeling insecure and having a low self-esteem that I wasn't putting in the work, and I was just watching everyone understand it quickly, but that's because they were working and I wasn't working as hard as I should have been. But it was hard because I remember feeling like I don't belong here. I should have stayed at UJ. I made a mistake. Guys, university is so difficult, and I think more than anything, it's difficult in terms of the material, but it's difficult in terms of like your mentality and your mindset. And that was like the toughest challenge that I had that time. And so I didn't do so well first year, but I got through, scraped by, got to continue. Second year comes, I am now mixed up with all the wrong types of friends that I made in my first year, and I'm just developing some terrible habits and just really not performing well at all. I think I mentally checked out somehow, but I just was not performing. And I'll never forget having to come home in first semester of second year telling my mom that I failed every single course except for one. So I had, I think, 4 or 5 courses, and I failed everything except for one course. It was the most difficult conversation I've ever had to have with my mom. And she'd always believed in me. She'd always told me I can do anything, I'm so smart. And to tell her that, hey, but I think I should have also told her how I was feeling, that, I'm going through all these like mental challenges and all of these problems, but I was just so embarrassed and ashamed, and I just didn't speak to anyone. I didn't tell anyone what was wrong, how I was feeling. I was just, I don't know, I just buried my head in the sand, and I was basically coasting. Then what happened with second semester, I got back and I spoke to my now partner, and he really encouraged me of, listen, you are in danger of not being eligible to continue with the year. So if you don't know anything about academic exclusion, basically each university has readmission requirements that you need to fulfill in order to be accepted back into the university. So every university has this, and you need to meet those requirements. Now, most people don't do this. They don't check what those readmission requirements are, and it's usually a certain amount of credits or certain amounts of courses that you need to pass in order to be allowed to continue. So at some point, I was the editor of the Engineering Students magazine, and in that magazine I went and I wrote an entire article all about academic exclusion. So I will leave a link in the description box so that you can access that magazine. It has some great tips for students and also an article about academic exclusion. So check for that in the description box below. And so he spoke to me and he told me that I basically need to pass every single subject and hopefully I'll stand a chance of being accepted. And now I've just gone from failing everything to now, trying to on my own scrabble together and make a plan. But I tried really, really hard and I passed everything, but I failed one course, the most difficult course. If you're a mechanical engineer, you know dynamics, okay? Dynamics kicked my butt, okay? And that was the only course I failed, but I passed everything. So I was like, you know what? These people are gonna see that I made an effort, I made this complete change, and they're going to give me a second chance. And so I was really hopeful. I was, back at church. I was praying. I was just convinced, right, that it will be fine. Everything will be okay. And then I'll never forget. I was sitting in my car waiting for my sister. She was in surgery, and I was waiting for her to come out. And I'm in the car, and I get an email. I don't know if it was an email or I checked my readmission status, and it said, "Not eligible to continue." Guys, that is honestly one of the worst feelings, right? Because I had just tried my very best to improve my academic performance. I'd just done this 180 trying to improve, and they're like, "Sorry, you can't come back." And now at this point, I've been at university in total for 3 years. I'm 21, and I'm like, all I have is a matric certificate to show for the last 3 years of my life. What is going on? And I knew there was a possibility that I wouldn't qualify. I'd calculated the credits. I was honestly wishing on a star. Really, I did not meet the requirements to continue. And there it was in black and white. Your dream at UCT, your journey at UCT has come to an end. Anyway, so with any exclusion, that's what it's called, with any academic exclusion, you are allowed to appeal and explain to the committee what happened and why they should give you a second chance. So this is your opportunity to tell them what went wrong, what is the reason for your poor performance, and they'll assess to see what they think and possibly let you back in. So I write my letter. I didn't even have internet at the time. I was sitting at some internet cafe. I printed it out. I wrote and I told them exactly what happened, poured my heart out into this application, and once again, hoped and prayed. I was praying so hard, guys. I was praying so hard, going to church, just doing everything that I could to make sure that, God, please, this is my dream. I'm here at UCT after everything. Can I please just be given the second chance? I know it's my fault. I know what I did wrong, but I tried. I'm trying. Please, please, please. And so I send my appeal letter, and I'm like, no, they will give me a second chance. Everything will be okay. That was the most difficult December. I just turned 21, but that December was horrible, 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 horrible. Come January now, we're waiting. Did UCT take me back? Guys, I get feedback from the readmissions committee that no, unfortunately, that's it. Your journey has come to an end finally. It's official, it's done, and you're often told you cannot reappeal and appeal like it's over, it's done. And then I have to accept it. I have to accept, okay, I'm not going to go to UCT. All I have is a matric certificate after studying engineering for 3 years. This is all I have, and I have to just accept it. It's over. Sure, that was a very difficult time. I can't even explain to you how it felt, but I decided to call the university to ask, why is it that my appeal was declined? What's going on? Can I just get more feedback? And luckily, this lady, I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to get her in trouble, or I don't know if I'm supposed to, but she told me exactly what was wrong with my application, and she told me that basically I explained to them very well all that went wrong, right? But what they're looking for, and this is to help anyone who's going to deal with exclusion in the future. They want to know that you have valid and legitimate reasons as to why you failed, but they also want to know your plan of how are we as a committee and as a university convinced that you are now rehabilitated, you are now going to perform better. And she said, I have not shown in my appeal report that I have solved all these problems. I mentioned all the problems, but I didn't adequately show that I've solved these problems and I'm now ready to come back and excel at the university. And she said, I will do you a small favor and allow you to send me if you have additional information. We're meeting to discuss the people that had supplementary exams, and I will ask if we can discuss your case then. Thank God, right? She opened that door and let me explain one more time. This was a huge favor, but like I said, the main problem was that I showed all the reasons why I failed, but I didn't adequately show how I have solved those problems, why they should take me back, and why I'm now ready to do well in this fast-paced environment. You know how university is. And so she gave me that opportunity. I sent it in to her. I sent her additional information. And lo and behold, girl, you can come back to UCT. Woo! The best day of my life. I'll never forget that. And so, I mean, it was a whirlwind 2-month period where I thought, oh my God, my life is over. What am I going to do? But luckily they accepted me back, and I'm going to start now wrapping up the story a little bit quicker. And so I had to now work my ass off. I was like, I'm not wasting this opportunity, you know, getting accepted into university. Trust me, okay, I've battled to get accepted. I first had to go to UJ, then I was at UCT. I was like, I'm not throwing this opportunity away. I'm going to work my ass off. But the thing with the university, you have to learn how to work your ass off. So my marks started to increase little bit by little bit every year. And I just want to share another favorite thing of mine is that, you know, there was a time in 2014 where I decided to run for student council to be part of the leadership that represents the entire engineering faculty. And I just felt that this need, this insatiable desire to give back and help other people, because I was already helping people with their academic exclusions and stuff. And I was like, no, I need to be in leadership. And I applied and I ran for student council. So nerve-wracking. I was never a prefect or in any kind of leadership before, and this was my first time trying it out, but I just felt so passionate to help other people and to give back. And I got accepted into the student council. I actually got the second highest vote in the election, and that was a great thing. And ever since then, I've just been this person that likes to help other people and to give back because of how much I struggled and all the things that I learned, that I think that other people can avoid those same mistakes. And so you never know how your journey, how your struggle is actually going to benefit and help other people. Had all of those things never happened, there were lots and lots of people that I actually helped with their application for appealing to the university to get accepted back in, and then I was on the student council. There was just a lot that I did, and that was because of how much I had struggled and failed myself, and I wanted to help other people, just like in this video. And I hope that you will share this video with someone that you know had a tough academic year, or just someone that had a tough year in general, that you just never know where your path is going to end up. And so yeah, I kept working my ass off. I was joining leadership. I was also leadership in my residence. I just really came alive. I grabbed the opportunity with both hands because I was so grateful to have been given another opportunity, and I just didn't take it for granted, and I worked my butt off. And you know, I graduated from the University of Cape Town. I was in the 2017 graduations because of fees must fall. We couldn't graduate in 2016. Hey, you know, there's more like little details to the story, but I don't want to make this video too long. But at the end of the day, graduation did happen. It was amazing. It was beautiful. It was completely worth it. And so what I want to tell you is that if you know in your heart of hearts that there's a qualification that you really want, and there are things that are standing in you. I didn't even mention the financial challenges of getting excluded because there's also financial implications. I didn't even go into that video. But I know that for you may have that. There may be financial blockages in your way. There may be other things that are hindering you from getting your degree. I want to tell you that if you know in your heart of hearts that you want this qualification, don't let anything or anyone stop you. If it means that you have to go get a job so that you work for a few years and save some money to go back to university, then do that, because it is so worth it to finally get that qualification that you really want. And so I just want to encourage you to not give up, even if there's all the doors are closing, like, yeah, the university didn't accept you, next thing you're excluded, next thing the financial challenges, there's a lot, right? But I just want to tell you that at the end it's going to be so worth it, and you just don't know. Can just be such a long journey. And you know, I must say that praying and having faith, all of that really helped me. I hope that you will share this video with someone who needs to hear this message, because this 2020 pandemic year has just been awful. I mean, I was failing even when there was no pandemic, under perfect circumstances. So I cannot imagine the pressure and the stress that you guys were under this year. Please just know that it's completely okay if it didn't go well this year, because some of us, were doing badly, even without pandemics, even without the world basically being on fire. And so if this year, if it didn't work out, it's okay. I'm telling you, if your parents won't tell you, if your friends won't tell you that it's okay, I'm telling you that it's okay. But what's not okay is to give up. Don't give up. That's not okay. Just dust yourself off, reflect on what you could improve, and then next year, try again. And if you have to take a break for a few years to save money or do something else, do that, but come back to your dream. Dreams delayed are not dreams denied. And if you know in your heart of hearts that you deserve it and you want it, then don't let anything or anybody stop you. My mother, I just want to thank her so much for how much she helped me. My friends, they had to deal with me constantly wanting to quit. I remember Lou, I would go to her room every semester like, Lou, I want to quit. I didn't even mention that. Every semester I was like calling my mom, I want to quit, I want to come home, going to my friend's house, Lou, and telling her, girl, I'm done here. And I remember in final year, guys, my last year, I went and I said, Lou, I quit, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. But anyway, I kept going. And so surround yourself with people who will be in your life and motivate you and help you, and just find those people and appreciate them and appreciate those relationships. And if you don't have anyone, just pray to God and ask Him to help you, but just don't give up, even if it seems like it's never going to happen. That is not true. If it's your path and it's meant to happen, and you put in the work and you just have resilience, you really, really can achieve anything. So yeah, I want to wrap this video up by thanking my boyfriend, T. Thank you so much for all your support throughout the years. I'll never forget how much you helped me in getting my degree, and my friends. Aya, Lou, thank you so, so much. And then lastly, my mom. She is everything. She is the reason I even have this degree in the first place, and I thank you so much. And of course, I thank God for just being there with me the entire time. And so yeah, this video is probably super duper long, but that's all that I have to say. Like I said, I thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.